Welcome. I'm Kinetic Symphony. I hunt down and report on weird and true mysterious stories, from glitches to the paranormal. Did you know you can support the channel by joining? Something to think about. Now onto the stories. Case file number 950, written by Oceanic BB2. Her entire life was downloaded into my brain. Here goes nothing. I never thought I'd share a story like this. I studied physics and philosophy in college, and now I'm a teacher of applied sciences at a modest but respected university. I'm trying to keep this mostly anonymous, so it doesn't reflect back on me or any of my students and faculty. The crazy, nutty professor and all that imagery, as you can imagine. On my afternoon lunch breaks, I like to sit in the courtyard park area on campus. It's peaceful. There are hundreds of types of flowers here, large trees, and an active fountain that provides for some soothing white noise. Deep breaths, in and out, clearing my mind of worries and concerns. A daily ritual of sorts. What happened next, it defies rationality as I know it. I opened my eyes for my relaxation technique, the one I do every day, and the world around me appeared as a grid, with different layers stacked on top of each other and behind, in all directions. I could see people and objects on one layer, and then another layer behind it, and another behind that. I could see patterns and connections between them. It wasn't a flat grid, it was in full 3D, akin to someone editing into reality a CGI rendering of space-time itself onto my perspective of the real world. I try to be a reasonable person. I wouldn't call myself a scientist, even though I do my best to teach the fundamental principles of the scientific method and how to apply it in the real world. The problem with this grid is it's isolated to my own mind. How can I know what I'm seeing is real? I'm still calm at this point, but trying to analyze what I was witnessing. Why I was. A conjuring of my mind? A cohesive error in my synapses? There's plenty of ways to fool the mind and/or the signals from light entering into one's eyes. Optical illusions are powerful tools, but this was no illusion. I knew that much. But I also knew I had no way to fully apply the breadth of the scientific method in this case. What I was seeing could be contained to my own mind, not a reflection of reality, but my randomly spawned insanity. But then something happened, something that could not be manifested by my brain alone. Someone was walking by in front of me, and their path coincided with the edge of one of the grid patterns. I was observing her moving towards it, silently. As this girl crossed through it, her entire life story flashed before my eyes. It was closer to reading a comic book by flipping through the pages with your thumb at lightning speed, but there were some pages that remained more etched into my mind. After this glimpse into her entire life history, whatever grid or what you want to call it was gone, or at least I couldn't see it anymore. Physically, mentally, I felt perfectly fine. No headaches or nausea, I didn't feel sick or dizzy. But I knew, to confirm what just happened in objective reality, I had to approach the girl whose life I presumably saw flash before my eyes. I stood up slowly and walked at a quick pace to catch up. This entire event happened within the span of a minute at most, from seeing the grid to this person intersecting it, to the life flash comic book, to now. I politely said to her, as I caught up to this pleasant-looking girl, per the life flashes and her appearance, I'm quite certain she's a student on campus, but not part of my class. "Excuse me, miss, I hate to disturb you." She had AirPods in her ears. "But I just had to ask you really quickly. I'm part of the staff in school and I needed to confirm one small detail for administration policy. Your hometown was in X, correct?" She was taken aback, but simply said yes, at which point I thanked her and took off walking to the teacher's lounge. I tried to cool off there for a while. Next class was in 2 hours. The memories were forming in my mind a bit clearer as the minutes passed by, enough to know that her hometown was what my gut had told me to ask her. It wasn't just a lucky guess, I know this girl now. Her friends call her Belle. She was very cute, an elegant kind of beauty, and I had her entire life downloaded into my brain. Case notes are file 950. Her entire life was downloaded into my brain. Yeah, this is just phenomenal. There's a few stories in the past where people have mentioned the grid, sometimes in my own thoughts, where I'm trying to visualize the full nature of space-time itself. It's always in this four-dimensional, because it includes time, grid shape, where things are flowing depending on where mass is located or energy, the curvature of space-time as it goes. Now, the idea that intersecting these can enable someone to have the information of that person downloaded into their mind. It wasn't like their soul. I don't think you sapped their soul or anything like that. I think all of our lives, the past history of our lives, is stored on the universe's servers, the multiverse's servers, and this is how transfers are easy with quantum immortality, at least in part of our soul. I think the soul is the tether to the real world, what enables us to animate a body. But then you have all the information that can be easily transferred between them. I don't think the soul itself has that information. Could be wrong, but I think the information is freely available. Well, freely, assuming you can manifest this grid somehow. I wonder if it depends on a certain brainwave or a state of mind, like in Stargate Atlantis, where to ascend to a higher plane of existence, ascension requires a certain amount of intellect. Now, the whole 10% of the brain and all, the percentage of the brain we're using is nonsense. We use all of our brains, just not all at once. However, to achieve a certain mental state or brainwave state, there's some validity to that. I think if you achieve a Zen-like, almost, not comatose, but extremely calm, I think you can achieve visions of things that otherwise you wouldn't be able to perceive. It's always there, we just can't see it. Well, besides in your case, there was that connection point where in the grid it intersected. And I think maybe it's almost like the grids are laid out where if you move from one to another, you're changing server hosts. Like in video games where they're partitioned, so different servers are in charge of different nodes. And then you can funnel more processing power to any given node if it needs it, if there's a lot of people there or a lot of things going on. It makes sense that the multiverse would be set up similarly to that, because it can be scaled and easily adapted based on circumstance. The amount of computational power you'd require at all times would be immense, and it wouldn't really serve any purpose. Unless there's people there, you wouldn't need to process all that information. So yeah, this is absolutely fascinating. Isabella sounds like a nice girl. How would you react if you got someone's entire life downloaded into your brain? That information may not be entirely clear, but maybe some bits are more pronounced than others. Maybe it'll unfold slowly over time in your mind. Whew, that's so cool. Case file number 951, written by Eastern Tornadoes, the Feline Angels. The town I live in, a small town that's nestled in the Appalachian Mountains that has a feline oddity about it. I love telling the story. The town has a large population of cats, and it was not uncommon to see them roaming around the streets. In fact, it was more abnormal to go for a walk and not see these stray cats patrolling the neighborhood. Paw Patrol, Kitty Edition. So here's what's so cool about these cats. They have the ability to sense when someone is feeling ill or in distress, and they would come to the person's aid, just emotional support. But they'd also be able to alert others passing by. The cats will sit there with the injured man or woman, purring and providing comfort until the person feels better or help arrives. They seem to have an innate understanding of when they were needed and would show up at the right time. It's incredible to see it happen. I remember this one case where a young Asian girl, Janine, had been playing outside when she fell and broke her leg. Well, it was a fracture, but she couldn't walk on it. She was in a lot of pain and was crying for help when a cat appeared off the side of the edge of the school building, school playground after hours. The cat walked over to her, jumped onto her lap, and started to purr. She felt an immediate sense of calm and her pain started to go away, as she later told the EMTs. She even said the cat mesmerized her. They're known as the healing cats, and it's developing into an actual field of research. How some pets, and especially cats, can detect when people are sick before they even know it, or before doctors can detect it with basic checkups. As far as healing goes, I'm not sure if I buy that exactly. Maybe a kind of placebo effect? The cats soothe people enough to make them think they're getting better, and sometimes this enables the body to heal itself. Or maybe there really are healing properties from these feline angels, and this is a glitch in the matrix. Case file number 951, the Feline Angels. Yeah, Janine sounds like a lucky girl to have cats that are just attuned to people's illnesses or injuries. There are pets, I think it was dogs, but maybe cats can do it too. I think it's related to scent, where they can detect, even before doctors and all the scans we can perform, if someone is ill, based on certain pheromones or compounds that a sick person will emit. I think it's related to certain types of cancer, but maybe other diseases as well. Wonder what town it's in though. That'd be cool to visit. You go to this town and just random angel cats are descending from the sky just to provide aid. That sounds like a cool place to be. I don't know if indeed there is any healing properties from them. It may just be a placebo effect. People are more comforted and maybe they intuitively think that the cats will provide some sort of healing power, and then that enables the body to heal itself. Placebo effect is really powerful. It's quite amazing. I think that in of itself is a separate glitch, but that's just harder to document, I guess. 2 more stories down. We're rapidly approaching 1,000. That's so cool. Yay. The platypus is back. I figured, why not? Let's name him Dave. Or, what do you guys want to name him? You know, he's a cutie patootie. I don't know what the best name for him is. Need something. Like the video, subscribe, hit the bell, and we're done.